The book of Judges is like a mirror, showing us what happens when people forget God and just do whatever they think is right. It's messy, it's raw, and yet it's full of grace. This isn't a story about perfect heroes, it's about a faithful God who keeps rescuing deeply flawed people. Judges takes place in a time called the Age of the Judges, after Joshua and before Israel had kings. There were 12 judges in total, just like the 12 sons of Jacob and 12 apostles, a number that symbolizes leadership. But these judges weren't courtroom judges. They were more like tribal troubleshooters. Whenever the Israelites cried out for help, God sent one of these leaders, like Gideon in the north or Samson in the south. The book follows a painful cycle repeated again and again. Israel sins, God sends oppression, the people cry out, and God sends a judge to rescue them. And for a while there's peace, but then they fall right back into sin. This downward spiral is summarized powerfully in chapter 2. Israel didn't drive out the Canaanites like God had said. They married into those nations, adopted their idols, and soon forgot their God. Here's what's both stunning and sobering. God still used these judges, but they were far from perfect. Samson was violent and impulsive. Gideon was fearful and insecure. Jephthah made a tragic vow, but the Spirit of God came upon them, for a moment, for a mission. It's not like the indwelling spirit we have today as Christians. It was a temporary empowerment for God's purpose, not an endorsement of everything they did. By the end of the book, Israel wasn't just in trouble. They had sunk into all three major sins: idolatry, injustice, immorality. Why? Because without strong, godly leadership, they drifted. So, what does Judges teach us today? First, spiritual leadership matters. Israel stayed on track under Joshua and the Judges, but once these leaders died, the people fell into sin again. Even the Levites, meant to be the spiritual backbone, failed to guide the tribes well. A spiritual leader must tell the hard truth, not just the comforting parts. Second, faith must be personal. The second generation of Israelites didn't really know God because they did not see or experience God, hence they fell away slowly. That still happens today, when people go to church only because their parents told them to. Third, our alliances matter. Marrying into the ungodly nations pulled Israel into idolatry. It's like gravity. The pull is usually downward. The ungodly partner will often pull the godly one down, with only very few exceptions to this. That's why Scripture warns us not to be unequally yoked. And finally, idolatry is more common than we think. When Gideon made a golden ephod, the people worshipped it and forgot the God who saved them. Even today we put more trust in what we can see, our jobs, our medicines, our routines, but we forget the invisible hand of God who provides all things. The last line of Judges says it all. Everyone did what was right in their own eyes. That's not freedom, that's chaos. But through it all, God never gave up on them, and He hasn't given up on us either. So the question is, will we walk in our own way, or will we trust the one who sees beyond our eyes?